Hey, good morning. Welcome back to the Pratte Gym. Or in many cases, it's still evening for a lot of you if you're out enjoying the weekend. Why? Because it's just 2 a.m. Eastern and your Pratte is getting ready to lace up the leather and go to work. Everlast. It means so much to me. But when I see that brand, no matter where here in the Pratte Gym, the first thing that comes to mind is my childhood hero. Probably a person who had as much influence on me as my father, if not anyone else. The great Muhammad Ali. And I'm sure most of you are knowing because it is the #1 story trending right now. The greatest has passed away at the age of 74 within the last few hours because of a respiratory illness with his family at his side in Phoenix, Arizona. I have to take time to remind you his legacy, his courage, his strength, not in the boxing ring, but as a human being and what he did, not only how he stood up for his faith, Muslim, the black race, but that other human race, all of us. Because he made us believe that we could achieve just about anything. And we saw him do it in the ring time and time again. As a young man out of Louisville who grew up in a middle-class family, yes, not like most champions who grew up in poverty. He grew up in a very stable environment because of someone stealing his bike at the age of 12 and a police athletic league taking him into a boxing gym. Who knows? He may have been a great scholar. But for those of us who love the sport, and that it is, he took it to the next level. And then, of course, the Olympic gold medal, 1960 Rome. He wins the heavyweight championship against the highly favored Sonny Liston and does it again, time and time again. Great fights against Joe Frazier, March 8, 1971, the first one. Frank Sinatra hired by Life magazine to take pictures of the fight. I mean, everyone, who's who, was there. And then George Foreman, Kinshasa Zaire, how he recaptures the title. His boxing prowess, his record will stand for generations. No one will ever achieve his greatness or his raw ability. He was one of the greatest gifts the sport has ever had. And that's why I think of this, Everlast. But he will be everlasting in my mind because as a young child, well, many of my friends, and I've said this before, not that I didn't love the Pirates, the Steelers, but I loved the sport of boxing. I learned to be a better reader by reading Ring magazine because of my mother, very forward thinking, saying, let me get him something that will get his attention to help him in school, and it did. And all of the stories that I have read about Muhammad Ali and what he did have always impressed me in the ring. And even now as a middle-aged man, when there are hurdles that I have to leap, I think of him. I come here in the gym like long before the sun comes up and will work up a sweat and grind through those problems that sometimes, if you didn't have an outlet, might bring you to your knees or drop you for the 10 count. But what I've always admired about him was the fact that when he decided to not serve this country, whether you believe it or not, it took a man of courage because he believed it was not the right thing to do. When blacks were being treated poorly in the South, he could have simply sat back because he was being treated great because of who he was. He didn't. He stood up for them. And that's why I will always love Muhammad Ali. He is the father of wonderful children, and he has been a stable environment in their life. He is an amazing husband, but he's a man that has been involved in so many charities and helped so many people that really, that record is probably even bigger than his boxing resume. I don't know what else to say other than I hope that all of you will take a little time out of the next few days and find out more about who he was, the man, the myth, the legend. And we will be paying tribute to him throughout the weekend. Today, Rob Pratte, Saturday at 5 a.m., right after CBS News. And of course, we will do it over the weekend as well. And I know this. I know that everything comes to an end. And I know that we are all born and eventually we do die. But I always thought he would just never die. Even struggling with Parkinson's disease for decades, he always seemed to overcome. And recently looking at all of his pictures with his beloved family and his lovely daughter Layla, who I happen to be friends with on Facebook, I just kept saying to myself, he's going to be around to someday see me hold my grandkids, right? Well, it didn't happen, but I know because of his faith in God and a man of peace, he will be watching down upon all of us. And I hope that if somehow, some way, through the miracles that we all believe faith can sometimes give us, he's listening to this right now and saying, that young man really did love me. No, champ, I really do. Forever. Have a great day from the Pratte Pack Gym.